It may soon be harder for you to get your groceries after Winn-Dixie announced today is closing 94 underperforming stores, 5 of those in our area. News 5's Mary Smith joins us now.
Good morning. Pretty soon, this empty parking lot I'm standing in will become a thing of the norm. That sign up there will be gone. This is the Winn-Dixie on North Dell Mabry. This is just one of many that'll be closing. Yesterday's news came as a huge blow for thousands of Winn-Dixies and Harvey shoppers and employees. Southeastern Grocers is the parent company for both stores. It announced yesterday that it had to file for bankruptcy and will be closing 94 stores across the Southeast, 10 of them in our area. The spokesperson for the company says that this will help reduce their debt by $500 million. Employees.
It feels unbelievable to say it, but Winn-Dixie, a century-old neighborhood staple, has all but vanished from the South. Once the largest grocer in Florida, it's now almost unheard of outside a few hometown markets. So how did a beloved chain go from family business nostalgia to corporate casualty? The short answer: debt, bad timing, and cutthroat competition. Winn-Dixie's parent, South Jacksonville-based Southeastern Grocers, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2018. A judge approved a reorganization that trimmed roughly $600 million of debt and let the company stay in business, but not without collateral damage. Under the plan, SEG closed 94 underperforming stores and emerged operating about 575 Winn-Dixie, Bilo, Harvey's, and Fresco y Mas stores across 7 states. In other words, at its peak in mid-2018, the chain had closed dozens of locations and hunkered down. That struggle wasn't just on paper. Inside those remaining stores, customers noticed changing aisles and half-empty shelves. Industry experts noted that Winn-Dixie simply couldn't keep up with rivals. A 2020 analysis pointed out that Winn-Dixie has not performed well against Publix, its longtime Florida rival, and was losing ground to big boxes like Walmart. Meanwhile, a new wave of discounters and dollar store grocers was muscling in. By 2020, Aldi and Lidl were rapidly expanding in the Southeast, and Walmart was pouring money into online grocery and fresh departments. Southeastern Grocers scrambled to catch up. It launched fresh branding and ad campaigns, the tongue-in-cheek Win-Win Twins commercials, remodeled some stores, and even bought bankrupt chains, 5 Lucky's Market locations and 4 Earth Fare stores, to rebrand as Winn-Dixie's. But it was a Hail Mary at best. One retail consultant warned that this was the last chance saloon for Southeastern. If they get this wrong with Winn-Dixie, they're done for. In short, decades of missed investment left Winn-Dixie a sitting duck. For clarity, the main factors behind Winn-Dixie's decline included but aren't limited to these 3 things. 1. Heavy debt and bankruptcy. SEG reduced $600 million in debt but still shuttered dozens of stores in 2018, ending up with roughly 575 supermarkets. 2. Losing ground to competitors. Analysts noted Winn-Dixie has not performed well against Publix and was outmatched on service and store conditions. Publix, in particular, kept investing in cleaner stores, customer service, and own brand goods, becoming a much tougher rival. 3. New retail onslaught. Freshly expanded Walmart with 350-plus Florida stores and upstarts like Aldi and Sprouts poured millions into local grocery markets, while grocery delivery and e-commerce like Amazon and Walmart lured customers online. These headwinds put Winn-Dixie in a vice. By the late 2010s, even loyal shoppers sensed the change. Fewer product choices, dated interiors, and store closings in smaller towns. Someday, the chain would have to find new investors or fold. And then the gloves came off. In August 2023, the German discount chain Aldi announced a blockbuster deal. It would acquire Winn-Dixie and Harvey's Supermarket from Southeastern Grocers, roughly 400 supermarket locations in 5 states. Overnight, the fate of Winn-Dixie was largely in Aldi's hands. By March 2024, the acquisition was official. Aldi had closed on the purchase, taking control of SEG's 400 stores in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. In press releases, Aldi promised that a significant number of these acquired stores would become Aldi supermarkets over the coming years. In practice, that meant the red Winn-Dixie signs would start coming down. Indeed, Aldi immediately began converting dozens of stores. In mid-2024, the company said it would close about 50 Winn-Dixie locations to reopen them as Aldi by the end of 2025. One local Florida affiliate reported that unhappy residents even started petitions to keep their beloved Winn-Dixie, but the conversions proceeded anyway. In Jacksonville, Alabama, and elsewhere, workers packed up Winn-Dixie shelving as contractors started installing Aldi's austere fixtures. Notably, some longtime employees chose to quit rather than face the uncertainty of an Aldi takeover. By early 2025, the corporate landscape shifted again. In February 2025, Aldi announced that it would sell most of the remaining stores to a private consortium led by C&S Wholesale Grocers and Southeastern Grocers' own CEO, Anthony Hucker. This deal transferred 170 Winn-Dixie/Harvey's grocery stores, plus the liquor stores, to the new owners, while Aldi retained about 220 stores to convert itself. The bottom line, Aldi effectively split the chain. Roughly 42% of the stores it had bought, 170 of roughly 400, went back to a regional group, and the rest were on Aldi's conversion docket. To lay it out clearly, check this out. August 2023, Aldi announces purchase of roughly 400 Winn-Dixie/Harvey's locations. March 2024, deal closes. Aldi owns Southeastern Grocers, the parent of Winn-Dixie, and its 400 stores. Mid-2024, Aldi begins converting about 50 Winn-Dixie stores to Aldi, aiming to reopen most by end of 2025. February 2025, a C&S-led group buys 170 of the Winn-Dixie Harvey supermarkets from Aldi. The remaining roughly 220 will be rebranded as Aldi by 2027. January 2026, Southeastern Grocers officially rebrand itself as the Winn-Dixie Company, uniting its remaining stores under the century-old name. By mid-2025, the result was clear. Hundreds of former Winn-Dixie stores are in transition. Aldi CEO announced the company would open 225 new U.S. stores in 2025, the bulk of its growth ever, in part by converting Winn-Dixie and Harvey's locations. In fact, analysts noted this was Aldi's biggest expansion push to date. To shoppers, the rapid makeover felt like a flip of the switch, a familiar grocery replaced by Aldi's Spartan model, or a sudden shuttering followed by another banner, a scene replayed store by store across the Southeast. The official story spun by leaders made it sound upbeat. Southeastern CEO Anthony Hucker spoke of a new chapter and renewed momentum, vowing to listen loudly to the voices of our customers as the company reinvested. But these were words in a release. The visible reality was hard to ignore. Across social media and local news, many saw a straightforward fact. Winn-Dixie would survive mostly in Florida, while its old stomping grounds would take on other names, often Aldi. As one industry article put it, the consortium's purchase signals that Winn-Dixie and Harvey's will remain viable competitors in the region, but only on a much smaller footprint. So ultimately, what does this mean for everyday grocery shoppers? Sentiments are mixed. In Gainesville, Florida, one longtime customer told a local news crew she planned to shop at her closing Winn-Dixie until the last possible day. She lamented that Winn-Dixie stocked products Aldi won't have, especially Spanish and international foods, and offered more variety. Not like Aldi, you only get specific things. Another shopper admitted she wasn't sure she and Aldi would get along since Winn-Dixie carried items she loved, but doubted the discounter would. In short, many customers are sad to lose familiar choices and personalized service. On the other hand, bargain hunters are excited for the change. Aldi is better than a lot of our name brands, one Florida resident gushed, noting she spent significantly less at Aldi than anywhere else. Another said she'll be visiting the store more now that it's an Aldi instead of Winn-Dixie because of the lower prices and high-quality store brands. In communities where household budgets are tight, Aldi's hard-nosed value proposition is a real draw. The truth is, for thousands of shoppers, going to an Aldi after Winn-Dixie feels like winning a small victory. Meanwhile, winning at the grocery game means playing offense. Publix, Florida's 800-pound gorilla in groceries, continues to pull away with signature service and new formats. Analysts note Publix has long invested heavily in friendly staff, spotless stores, online shopping, and even a new upscale format, Greenwise Market, for health-oriented shoppers. Walmart hasn't slowed either, with over 350 Florida outlets. It is expanding fresh departments and pours resources into online grocery fulfillment. Even Kroger, traditionally weaker in the Southeast, is making moves, like a huge automated e-commerce fulfillment center near Orlando. Newcomers Lidl and Sprouts are aggressively planting flags in Florida and the Carolinas too. In other words, Winn-Dixie wasn't just losing to Aldi, it was outgunned on multiple fronts. As of early 2026, Winn-Dixie exists again as the Winn-Dixie Company, but mainly as a Florida-centered grocer. Its press release boasts of refreshed stores and a modern brand in Florida, but one quick look at the map shows all the old Winn-Dixies beyond Florida and southern Georgia are gone. Those stores have either closed or reopened to someone else, Aldi or other regional banners. In practice, Winn-Dixie lives on only in its home market. So, what really happened? It wasn't a single scandal or sudden collapse, but a slow unraveling. Underinvestment and debt left Winn-Dixie brittle. Every new competitor chipped away at its business. When Aldi swooped in, it was a bit like vultures circling a wounded animal. They didn't kill it all at once, but picked it clean. Corporate spin today talks about investing in our home state and a bold next step, but savvy shoppers see the endgame. Winn-Dixie as we knew it has faded into history. In the end, it's a lesson in retail reality. Even a 100-year-old brand can disappear if the numbers don't add up. For nostalgic shoppers, the name may linger in commercials or store marquees, but the old Winn-Dixie experience, shelf after shelf of neighborhood groceries with a familiar logo, is effectively dead outside a core region. The truth no one likes to say out loud is this: Winn-Dixie's death was decades in the making, and it took the final chapter of corporate strategy to finish the story. Whether the tale has a happy twist for Florida shoppers remains to be seen, but one thing's certain: the South's grocery map has been redrawn.